Hi, it's Alice. I'm back with a market update for the Victoria Real Estate Board for October 2023. Let's go. Okay, as always, let's start off with the sales data. So we had 407 sales go through in October. That is down 15.2% versus last year. So we are seeing a continued slow market. I think you all know that. Condos were down 7.2% in sales, and single family homes were down 16.1% in sales as well. So kind of down all across the board. I think we all know why. It's because the interest rates, obviously, they are putting a lot of confusion and I guess fear into the hearts of buyers right now, rightfully so. So yes, people are taking longer to buy and they are double thinking their decisions and being pickier. So we are seeing less sales overall. At the end of October, we had 2,756 active listings on the market. That's up 25.7% from last October. So yes, inventory is slowly building up. For single family homes in the Victoria core, you're looking at 1.3 million as the benchmark price. That's up 3.91% versus last year at the same time. Yes, it went up. And for the average price, it was 1.264 million, which is actually down 6.5% from last month. So, but do account for the little bit of seasonal changes, like as we transition into the winter time, you tend to see that ebb and flow anyways. Okay, so for condos in the Victoria core, we have a benchmark of $585,000 roughly. That is up 1.8% versus last year at the same time. But the average is $616,000 roughly, and that's down 5.5% versus last month. So you can kind of see the same thing happening with houses. We're seeing them slowly dip down a little. Now for changes in the market, there has been a lot in this past month, so I'm not going to go into all the details because it's like, I can barely keep up myself. So the Airbnb thing, I'm sure you've all heard, they are basically getting rid of those Airbnb condos that are built for that reason almost. And there is some collateral damage. I am seeing some condo sellers who are not Airbnb owners, and they're finding that their condos are not going to be able to sell for the same price as they thought before the announcement. So that's really unfortunate, and I hate to hear that. It does seem like there will be a flurry of listings with the Airbnb condos because they can't really use their property for what they intended to use it for. Yeah, I'm not too opinionated on that. I think there's pluses and minuses to both sides. So I just feel bad for anybody caught in the middle of that. But hopefully it does have the desired effect of increasing the rentals in Victoria, right? We'll see. Also just in the news was the fact that the province is introducing new housing legislation to increase the amount of properties that can be built on one lot. So single family zoned lots that are of a certain size could have up to 3 to 4 dwellings on them. Bigger ones could have up to 6. So that's quite a big change. It's not going to be an immediate thing. As far as I've seen with people I know, building is quite slow because they're busy, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it will introduce more of those mid-sized properties, not just condos that are hard for families to live in. So yeah, infrastructure will be interesting because I know certain areas of Victoria are very busy, but I'm sure they'll figure that out. But that's another change that is quite big that is coming into the housing market in BC. Other thing that we're seeing on the island, at least, is in Nanaimo they're starting to talk about banning natural gas being used as a primary heating source in new builds. So some people don't like that, some people love it. It really depends what side you fall on, but they're aiming for, if this goes through, I think July 2024, they'd be banning it officially for new builds. And you're kind of seeing that across the board. They don't really want you using natural gas, it seems, anymore. So it's a push towards heat pumps and electrical heating as a primary source, but that is in the news as well. As far as who's buying for what, most of my clients personally are buying for personal use, and they're living in the properties. There are some that are investors that are willing to come into the market. Most of the time they're looking at financing it now and then looking at redoing their financing in a couple of years when hopefully things come down. As far as covering their mortgage amount with a tenancy, some people are still paying out of pocket, so I know there's a lot of fighting with tenants and the general public over landlords, and I will say not everybody is able to cover their actual mortgage payment with their rent, and so that's a risk they take. But just so you know, like, gouging is being talked about quite a lot as far as rental amounts, but it's not always the case, right? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But anyways, yes, most people are doing lateral moves, or they are entering into the market as first-time buyers, and they're buying quite sensibly and not overspending because they don't want huge mortgage payments. So also a side note with mortgages, because I know people are bubble watchers, as I have been for many years. So I did an economic update Zoom call with many other realtors in the province, and what we found out was basically that looking at the mortgage holders in BC, almost half of them are near retirement age boomers, basically, that don't have mortgages. So they're not as affected by this. They're not losing their homes over mortgage rate increases because they bought a long time ago and they are well situated and they are paid off. So that's something to know if you are watching for bubbles, is that there's a large ratio of people in BC that actually own their house outright. And another, I don't have the statistics, they haven't sent them yet, but there was like almost another 30% that have been in their homes for a long time, and again, they've paid off a large portion of the mortgage. So the people most affected are the ones that have bought within the past 5 to 10 years. And the other thing that they noted was that the supply in BC is so low that there is no hope in outbuilding this issue for the next probably 10 to 20 years. There's just not, because we're basically waiting for the boomer generation. I say that kindly because I love them, but that generation, until they start moving into their downsizing, condos, and moving out of their big homes that they've been in forever that are paid off, there's not a lot of hope to alleviate this shortage of housing. So again, the prices probably are not going to crash as drastically as everybody is hoping for because of that demand. It is so constant and unrelenting. So I think that's all I've got until next time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You know where I am. I'm here or wherever the link is. I'm around. And I hope it's going well for you. I hope if you're in your house, you're not getting your mortgage payments jacked up. And if you are, I hope you can afford it. And yeah, whatever your situation is, or if you're buying, I hope it's going well. Anyways, take care. Enjoy this next month, and I will be back in a little bit. Bye.